Space exploration has historically been dominated by men, but this daughter of Iowa farmers wasn't deterred from gazing at the night sky and nurturing her dreams. She went on to achieve remarkable success as an astronaut, earning the admiration and respect of many. Surprisingly, nearly 90% of all astronauts have been men. Nevertheless, inspiring individuals like Peggy Whitson from the USA have been instrumental in addressing this gender imbalance. Over her extensive career at NASA, Peggy, an experienced biochemist, received numerous accolades for her scientific contributions, including 4 Exceptional Service Medals and a string of Guinness World Records. Between 2002 and 2017, she conducted 10 extravehicular activities, or spacewalks, around the International Space Station, ISS, a feat unprecedented for a woman and still unmatched to this day. She remains an iconic figure for aspiring female astronauts worldwide. Peggy Annette Whitson was born on February 9, 1960, in Mount Ayr, Iowa, USA. Although her parents were farmers, any thoughts she might have had about following in their footsteps were set aside on July 20, 1969. That night, Peggy, like millions of TV viewers around the world, watched in awe as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, both from the USA, became the first people to set foot on the moon. At just 9 years old, Peggy was captivated by the idea of people making a career out of being astronauts. Further encouragement arrived in January 1978, the year Peggy completed high school, when NASA initiated the training of its first female astronauts. Among these trailblazers was Dr. Catherine Sullivan, a fellow astronaut known for her record-setting achievements. For Peggy, this marked a joyous affirmation that space exploration was no longer the exclusive domain of male astronauts. Notably, among the 6 women selected was Sally Ride, who, 5 years later, became the first American woman to journey into space. In this regard, the United States' major rivals in the space race had a considerable head start. Nearly 2 decades earlier, on June 16, 1963, Soviet cosmonaut Valentina Vladimirovna Tereshkova, USSR, had already ventured into space. She made history as the first woman in space when she launched aboard Vostok 6 from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Peggy earned her doctorate in biochemistry from Rice University in Houston, Texas, USA, in 1985. The following year, she began her journey at NASA's Johnson Space Center, JSC, as a research associate. It was at JSC that she had the privilege of meeting another inspirational figure, Dr. Carolyn Huntoon, who provided her with valuable opportunities to cultivate her leadership skills. Peggy considered this support and encouragement pivotal in her development. As she expressed to Brilliant Star, for young people out there, if you don't have someone like that, you need to find a mentor. Climbing the ranks at NASA, Peggy became the deputy chief of the astronaut office the following year. By 2005, she was training as the backup commander for the International Space Station, ISS. On October 10, 2007, she embarked on her second space journey as a part of Expedition 16. This mission came with the added distinction and responsibility of making her the first female commander of the ISS. She held this position until April 8, 2008, resuming it on April 10, 2017, for Expedition 51. During her 6-month stint on that mission, Peggy oversaw the expansion of the crew's living and working spaces on the ISS and conducted an additional 5 spacewalks to maintain and upgrade the station. Describing the challenges of these open space excursions, she explained, "It's a massive vehicle, and it's been up here for 17 years, so we're constantly working on and upgrading systems." Spacewalks are physically demanding, with Peggy's longest lasting over 8 hours, during which she had to perform intricate tasks and manipulate tools while managing her spacesuit's pressure. Astronauts on spacewalks carry water within their suits but do not have access to food, so they load up on carbohydrate-rich meals before venturing out. The return journey to Earth on April 19, 2008, proved unexpectedly turbulent, but not in a positive way. Peggy and her crew were aboard the same Soyuz TMA-11 spacecraft from their October mission, but a module separation failure led to a hasty return trajectory termed ballistic re-entry. The landing occurred approximately 300 miles, 470 kilometers, from their intended destination, although the crew emerged unharmed. In 2009, Peggy assumed the role of chief of the astronaut office, where she organized the preparation and support of ISS crews, becoming the first woman to hold this position. 7 full years passed before she returned to the ISS. On November 17, 2016, she launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome at 56 years and 282 days old, becoming the oldest female astronaut in space. During her stay, Peggy conducted 4 more spacewalks to maintain or replace ISS components. On May 23, 2017, during Expedition 52, she completed her 10th spacewalk, which remains the highest number of spacewalks performed by a woman. Guinness World Records had the opportunity to speak with Peggy during a live interview on her final mission. In light of the world's subsequent confinement due to COVID-19, her comments have taken on new relevance. She explained, "In terms of illness, because we live in a fairly isolated environment up here, we don't get sick very often. In fact, we quarantine our crews for a week or 2 before launch to try to avoid transmitting cold, flu, or other illnesses, and it seems to work well. None of us have fallen ill." For more space insights, see the above questions and answers. On September 3, 2017, Peggy returned to Earth, landing in a remote part of Kazakhstan alongside astronaut Jack Fisher, her partner in her last 2 spacewalks, and cosmonaut Fyodor Yurchikhin. Over her distinguished career, Peggy spent a total of 60 hours and 21 minutes on spacewalks for the ISS, the most by a female astronaut. Moreover, her 289 days, 5 hours, and 1 minute in space during this final mission represented the longest continuous duration in space for a female astronaut at that time. This record was later surpassed by Christina Koch, USA, who has now accumulated 328 days, 13 hours, and 58 minutes in space. Peggy had been a mentor to Christina, just as she had benefited from accomplished female mentors in her early career. When her protégé broke her record on December 28, 2019, Peggy extended her warmest congratulations, appropriately, in zero gravity.